After he spoke, a friend of mine, Ed Grog, who attended the summit and has attended the summits in the past with me, quite frequently, we looked at each other and almost in unison and said, we ought to get this in the Indiana prisons.
And after it was over, Hybels comes on and says, listen, if you have any interest in your heart at all on prison ministry, wanting to reach out and be a part of this, we are looking for people that want to sponsor a prison and open the global leadership up to the offenders in that prison.
So we felt like Dave was really answered our prayers, getting this guy who at BCM open. Well, what we didn't know until we met with Dave later was Dave said, guys, I got to tell you something. I attended the Global Leadership Summit last year. He said, I left knowing that I need to get this in the prison system. The challenge is I'll never get it through appropriations.
After attending the summit at Grace Church last year, I was excited. I wanted to share this with our offender population, with our staff, and began looking at ways of how we could do this, how we could get the summit into at least one prison. And wasn't really getting anywhere. And then in February of this year, I got a message from people who wanted to talk about the Leadership Summit. And I thought, well, that's great. Yeah, we'd love to have it, but there's some cost issues.
And finally, I said, you know what, let's do this. Let's remove that barrier, take the money off the table. Like it's a non-issue. I said, you let Jeff and I worry about the money side. Better yet, let's let God worry about that. If He wants this to happen, He'll find a way for us to come up with the money to do this. And everything just opened up from there.
When I got to talk to Ed and Jeff and realized that they were serious and that they were willing to put their resources and their connections towards making this happen, it was probably one of the highlights of my career at DOC. Of like, wow, this could really happen.
When we contacted Dave initially, Ed and I had no idea. I didn't know how many prisons existed in Indiana. There could have been 5, there could have been 50, we just didn't know. We thought, well, if we could get into 1 or 2, that would be great. And as it comes to pass, right now as we sit here, the Global Leadership Summit is being simulcast live to 5 prison systems within the state of Indiana.
This year, we're hosting the summit at 5 different facilities, from maximum security to minimum security, both male and female facilities. We've also opened this up to our Staff Leadership Academy graduates.
Jeff and I talked about this, where our plan is to do this. We want to do it in 10 next year, and then do it in all 21 prisons in Indiana by 2018.
I can't take credit for this because this was not in my power to make it happen. It's been teamwork we've each brought something to this, and together something really cool is happening in the Indiana Department of Correction.
It just takes a person, and I feel like Ed and I have had the opportunity to join in with God, and I'm convinced if it wasn't Ed or myself, it would have been somebody else at some point. But to know that we were the ones that were chosen, so to speak, to be able to go on this ride along with God was it gives me chills to think about that.